Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett. We want to give you a look at some of the stories that we are following for your Saturday. We know it's the weekend right now. It's looking beautiful outside, so you're going to want to stay tuned in just a few minutes because First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin will be joining us with a look at our weekend ahead. But in the meantime, I do want to give you a look at some of the top stories that we are following. Of course, you can join us tonight at 6 and 11 on WANF. You can also join us at 10 on Peachtree TV. But of course, you can always watch us on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and on our free Atlanta News First app. If you don't have it already, go ahead and download it. You can get breaking news updates sent directly to your phone. That way you can follow us if you are out and about on your weekend and take us on the go. So one of the top stories that we have been following since early this morning, police have shot and killed an alleged armed man in Cobb County. Officers say this was a wanted suspect. It happened late last night, around 11:30 last night, where they say he was armed in a Walgreens. Our reporter Asia Wilson has been live on the scene since early this morning. She has been asking questions, digging into answers for us, and here is what she knows so far.
At the Walgreens on Cobb Parkway Southeast just hours after chaos erupted inside.
I was about to meet my friend to go out, and I was on the phone with him. He FaceTimed me.
Haley Glaze says she was on the phone with her friend Nathan Jenkins as he was shot and killed by police.
They were yelling at him. He was yelling back, trying to, tell him, like, his hands are up. He was saying repeatedly, my hands are up, my hands are up. I guess, like when you raise your arms, your shirt raises a little. They saw it. And they yelled, gun, 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 and they shot him multiple times. And then he fell down, and one of the police officers was like, really? And just hung up the phone call.
Cobb County Police say the shooting happened just before 11:30 Friday night when officers found a wanted suspect inside the store. They say the person had a gun. As they attempted to make contact, there was an altercation, and he was shot and died at the hospital.
Now I gotta relay the message to them that the police shot their dad and killed him. I don't think they gonna take that too well. They gonna be heartbroken.
Edward Jenkins says his brother was a father and loving person.
He was all smiles. Everywhere he go, he got a smile on his face. It don't matter where he go, he always meet a friend or somebody come approach him. They like his energy. It don't matter who it is. Everyone likes his energy.
And now they are demanding answers quickly.
I want all of them to be held accountable. All of them. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. And if I could identify if I needed to.
Justice will be served for my brother. That's all I got to say.
In Cobb County, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
And again, this is one of those stories that we have been following since this morning. If there are any further updates, we are going to keep you updated both on air and online. Now, moving on to another story that Atlanta News First has been following since day one. This involves a man who is accused of kidnapping a girl from Gainesville right out of her driveway and transporting her to Ohio. We do want to remind you we are no longer naming the girl or showing her picture since we do know she is the victim of a crime. Now, you'll remember it was the other week right here on the First Alert Desk that we told you that the district attorney in Hall County had announced that at first the suspect was going to be extradited quickly back here to Georgia, but investigators say the worst of the crimes this man is accused of happened in Ohio, so they are going to let the trial process play out in Ohio before bringing him back here to Georgia. But we now know the charges that this suspect is facing in Ohio. This is according to the latest jail records. So who you saw there was 34-year-old Antonio Augustine Ailon. He is accused of taking a missing Hall County girl to Ohio and has now been charged with multiple counts of rape. He had taken the girl from Gainesville to Tuscarawas County, Ohio. The girl had been missing for 57 days before being recovered safely. Augustine Ailon is accused of picking her up right outside of her home on May 29th and bringing her across state lines to Ohio. Investigators say she and the man had been messaging online The girl had expressed that she had been unhappy at home. The two communicated through Facebook Messenger. Now, the child wouldn't be found until, as we said, nearly 2 months later, when she wound up messaging her father from a Facebook account that she had newly created, saying that she wasn't going to be coming home. Investigators were able to track that IP address to a home in Dover, Ohio, and that is where they later found Augustine Ailon with the girl and took him into custody on July 25th. He has now been charged with 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of pandering obscenity, gross sexual imposition, and interference with custody. Very serious charges. Under Ohio law, pandering obscenity involves creating, reproducing, or publishing any obscene material that has a minor or impaired person as one of its participants or portrayed observers. Augustine Ailon, as we mentioned, was first supposed to be extradited quickly to Hall County, but is now being held in Ohio long-term until this trial process plays out. We know that the girl had been taken to a hospital in Ohio, had been examined, and was said to be physically okay, and has been returned to Georgia. We will keep you updated when we learn more about Augustine Ailon's court appearance and when eventually he will be transported back here to Georgia. However, it probably will be a lengthy process since these are serious charges that he is now facing in Ohio, and that trial process will play out first. Now, this story is one that just pulls on your heartstrings. Our reporter Blake Devine covering this for us. A high school football player in Clayton County was involved in a horrible accident. He was trying to help save his mom after she had been involved in a car accident, and he wound up getting hit by a car himself, losing his leg in that process. That teenager is now at Grady Memorial Hospital, where he has undergone several surgeries. Blake Devine shares his story.
Raven Winston was driving down to Charles Drew High School last Monday to pick up her 15-year-old son from football practice before someone hit her.
I got struck real hard by an SUV spinning around. The compression, I guess, from the airbags I couldn't breathe.
Head football coach Steve Robinson says DeLon Jackson immediately sprang into action to help his mother.
He said, "That's my mom." So when he said that's his mom, he immediately went to the car.
Moments after moving his mom out of harm's way, the teen was hit by a car.
He was down the street, his leg was hanging off in the middle of the street, twisted many ways. And it was the worst day of my life.
Now he's lost a leg, recovering at Grady Hospital as doctors try to save his other foot.
He's Superman to everyone else, but silently or to ourselves, he cries. He's a 15-year-old teen boy, and his life's changed.
As the football season starts, Coach Robinson says the Titans will dedicate their season to their teammate.
Real hero. That kid's like, I can't tell you how big that was, you know. The kid, he put himself in a position, and in a dangerous position, you know what I mean, to take care of his mom.
We know this young man has been through so much, continuing to keep him in our thoughts and in our prayers, but certainly a hero, just as his coach was saying. We're going to go ahead and take you now outside where, my goodness, we have a beautiful live look over the city of Atlanta, and we know you might be wondering, what can I do with the rest of my weekend? What will the weather allow me to do with the rest of my weekend? So we have First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin here, who has, my goodness, Cutter, you have had a busy week. You have been on Georgia's coast for us, bringing us all the latest on Debbie, and now you're right back here at home where, by looking outside, you would never guess there was any bad weather.
And I must tell you, if you must choose one, heavy rain and flooding, or it's hot and sunny weather, I think most would go hot and sunny. And that weather pattern continues for the rest of the weekend. It is going to be a borderline scorcher. Again, could be hotter this time of year, but we are going to be hotter than average, so do keep that in mind. Hot weather is here and here to stay for at least the time being. I would say the next 7 to 10 days will be, largely hotter than average overall, even if just by a couple of degrees. So I want to thank you for tuning in and for watching. I'm First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin here with another check of your First Alert forecast, streaming on Atlanta News First Plus. And kind of the highlight of that forecast is the fact that we're going to remain mostly dry. We're not concerned about any heavy rain in North Georgia nor in Metro Atlanta. You can see there for the next several days. We are remaining dry. In fact, a less than 20% chance of rain through the rest of this evening. Less than 20% chance of rain Sunday, on Monday, the same on Tuesday. If we're looking for any sort of change in the weather pattern, that is going to be Wednesday into Thursday. By no means a washout, but a slightly greater chance of rain back in the first alert forecast. And by that point, probably needing a little bit of rain with some hot weather in the forecast here over the next several days. So again, thank you for tuning in and for watching. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, feel free to ask on Atlanta News First Plus. Specifically, we are streaming on YouTube. Good place to get your questions answered. Doesn't look like we have any questions coming in. Still some folks watching though. So going to go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into that forecast. Let's take you hour by hour now. And more of the same through the rest of the afternoon. Temperatures basically at their hottest now through about maybe the top of the 6 o'clock hour, and then gradually just a little bit cooler. This particular forecast model wants to pop up a couple of showers this afternoon, East Metro on into East Georgia, Southeast Georgia. If this hot, mostly sunny weekend has taken you to Lake St. Clair, Lake Oconee, down into Putnam County, Oglethorpe County, Greene County, these areas, isolated shower, thunderstorm, a possibility. By no means, though, a planned canceller. Just something to keep a casual eye on here over the next couple of hours. We're losing that rain chance this evening. In fact, some relatively dry air working its way back into the first alert forecast with just an isolated chance of a shower during the daytime hours as soon as we lose the hottest temperatures of the day. Temperatures actually cool relatively quickly. Case in point, tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., Marietta, 69, 68 Rome, 61 in Blairsville. We could be talking some upper 50s. Highest of elevations up in the area of far north Georgia tomorrow morning. 74 Athens, 71 Covington, 72 Thomaston, 72 in Atlanta. This morning did not feel bad. And I think tomorrow morning might even feel, even more pleasant than it felt this morning across North Georgia and the metro Atlanta area. Yeah, we're not in the 60s in the city of Atlanta, but lower 70s, lower humidity, will take it. Though the dry air does send temperatures kind of soaring back into the afternoon. By noon, back in the mid-80s, some upper 80s, few communities already pushing 90. Like today, there could be a couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms, but again, not a huge hindrance to any plan. So great day for a pool day today, great day to hit the pool or the lake. Any water activity tomorrow, just keep a casual eye on the forecast. Maybe your precipitation and your lightning alerts turned on in the first alert weather app just in case. You'll get that alert even before potentially you hear that first boom of thunder. As we get into Sunday evening, much like this evening, lose the heat of the day, that already low rain chance drops even further. And this is mainly going to be towards Augusta, Midlands of South Carolina, and extreme East Georgia. I think Metro Atlanta points west. We are dry through the afternoon and the evening hours. And as mentioned, that same general weather pattern continues Monday into Tuesday. Some subtle changes Wednesday, slight boost in the rain chance. By no means a washout, though. We'll be tracking that little bit of a change in the forecast, how that may relieve us from some of the heat. And also we're watching the tropics, soon to be Ernesto, moving off to the north and west through the Caribbean towards the Greater Antilles. Perhaps impacting Puerto Rico. Right now, a likely chance of development, 80% chance this becomes our next tropical system. Again, next name on the list is Ernesto. And then on into the southwest Atlantic, we'll have the latest forecast and why there's some good news for the United States, but still worthy of our attention as well. Coming up this evening on Atlanta News First at 6 p.m., starting here in just about an hour and 10 minutes or so. I want to thank you for tuning in and for streaming. If you do have any other questions, comments, concerns, even outside of newscasts, even outside of ANF Plus, you can always get the latest at atlantanewsfirst.com. Full forecast there and in the First Alert Weather app. Have a great evening. Karli, Barnett, and I will see you in about an hour.